Hello, this is Elle Casey, and I'm going to show you how to write a novel in Scrivener using a Mac and how to format it for a Kindle ebook. This could probably work for a PC too. Okay, so you open your Scrivener software, and this is the opening screen that you'll see. And they have some options for you, but we're talking about writing a novel today, so I'm going to pick fiction. And then I'm going to pick novel, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that. It comes with some pre-filled information, but we're going to get rid of a lot of it. You have to name your book. I'm just calling mine test book because I'm so creative. Click create. Make sure you pick the place where you want it to be. I'm picking my desktop. That makes it easier. You could create a new folder if you want for it, but I'm just doing it on the desktop. Click create. And your new file will pop up with some instructions, but you don't need those because you have my video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of my manuscript to the actual name of my book. I don't know why I do that. It's fun. Also, I'm going to show you how to format your book for chapters, a real easy way. So I also put the name of my book here instead of the word chapter. These little subfiles are where your actual chapters are going to go. So I've typed in a chapter there as just a sample name. You can put whatever you want. It could be a hint of what that chapter is about. That's what I usually put. You don't have to put the word chapter 1, chapter 2. We're going to automatically format it to do that for us. So here I am just typing in some sample text so that you can see how it'll show up once we format it into an ebook. And as I put the voiceover on top of my video, the screen is so tiny here, I can't even read what I wrote back when I did this video a few hours ago. So, yeah, I'm sure it's quite brilliant, whatever it is. And you'll have to apologize, or I will have to apologize. You will have to forgive me for whatever background noise you hear because I don't have a quality microphone, just using the one that's built into my computer. And I have a cold, so my voice doesn't sound very attractive right now. But I figured you wouldn't care. All right, so there we are. We've done one chapter. I just hit the Enter key in order to create a new chapter. As long as you're in their chapter above and you click Enter, it just automatically makes a new one. So I titled that second chapter just a hint of what's going to be in the chapter. Again, you don't have to put chapter 2 or any specific title in there. I actually use that as a type of outline. I'll go ahead and make a bunch of chapters and just put a one-sentence line about what I think might end up in that chapter. I'm not much of an outliner. I'm more of a pantser, but you can do whatever you want there. Now I clicked on it again and then hit Enter to create a third chapter. As you can see, I'm just throwing in some garbage there because I want you to see that it really doesn't matter what you put in there later when we do the formatting. Scrivener has this really cool thing called universal formatting, or maybe they don't call it that, but that's what I call it, where you can do whatever you want in the actual document here, but then you can change the formatting in a global way. I think that's what they call it, global formatting, to make all the chapters look the same regardless of what you do here. Now, there is a folder they have there for you, character sketches or something like that. And if you click the little plus button there at the bottom, it gives you a new form to fill out for your characters. I never use these, but I probably should because I often forget characters' last names. Sometimes I forget their descriptions and then I have to go search my book for it. So a really organized writer, which is not me, a really organized writer would probably do these nice little character sketches. It's a nice feature to have in the book. It won't show up when you format the book for an ebook or paperback. This is kind of back office stuff just for you to keep your stuff organized. If you were writing back in the old days by hand, you'd probably have maybe index cards or something with this stuff on it. And so this program can actually run in several formats. One is a corkboard format, which you saw there a second ago, where these things are pinned to a corkboard, but I'm not that type of a visual person. I like stuff more in an outline format and like I'm looking at an actual page. So in a little while, I'll show you how you can select those different options. Just filling in some baloney here. And I'm sorry if this goes fast. I tend to be very fast typer and I forget when I'm doing a video I need to slow down, but the good news is you can always rewind and rewatch the parts that you need to see a few times. Scrivener is the best program I've ever used for writing but it does have a pretty steep learning curve, so don't feel bad if you have to go back and watch videos a few times, because I know I have. Almost done. Almost done. I don't remember what I wrote there, and it's so tiny I can't see it. So now I'm clicking on the next option down, the setting option, and I click the plus sign down in the bottom left to click a new setting thing. And then here's this form called Frontmatter. And as you can see, my little index cards are stapled to my, or tacked up to my corkboard, but I'm not a corkboard user, so I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. Click on that button up there. Now, why does that say Cassie Leo? She's another author. I do not know. I think because she sent me a template a long time ago. We traded templates, and the program somehow memorized her name as the author name. This is a template that the program builds for you, and you can see it's a manuscript template, but I'm going to use it as my ebook template, and I'm going to get rid of all that garbage and start from scratch. This is really kind of a little mistake I made doing the video, but it can show you that this thing is completely customizable. So I selected to center the text, and I've put in the title of our book and the author name. And now I'm going to format that title a little bit. I'm going to bold it. I'm going to make the font bigger. And I realized I don't really like that font. So I'm going to go to my select font or show font button up there. And it's going to pop up my window for fonts. And anything that I do in this little movable window will show up on the highlighted text in my Scrivener window. So I'm going to pick a different font for my title, just for the heck of it, one of these days. And I'm going to change the size over here, and there you go. Kind of spooky text for you. And you'll see later that this gives me a bit of a headache when it doesn't work how I want it to work, but that's something I'll figure out later. Now see here, I've highlighted this checkbox, compile as is. This is telling the computer that you want it to print this page just how you have it here. You don't want to use that global formatting. So that's important for certain pages. You'll see later more of that. So another thing I put in my Frontmatter is my copyright page. Obviously, you want to put your copyright page at the front of your book, so that should be in your Frontmatter. If you want to see the specific language of my copyright, you can click on a look inside feature on Amazon and look at the first few pages of any of my books. It's changed over the last couple years I've been publishing. So now I'm clicking the plus sign to add another page to my Frontmatter, Other Books by Elle. So I have a list. First of all, I start out with a link to my newsletter. I try to get as many newsletter signups as possible because it helps readers to know immediately when I have a new book available or promotion running. I send out newsletters about once a month. And then, of course, I have a list of all the other books I've written. I don't have links to them, though, because some of the retailers will kick your book back if it has links in it like that. So I just put a list of them there, and people can go find me. I put a dedication in my Frontmatter. Dedication, I bold it. I always make sure to click compile as is because you don't want the global formatting to take over here. Now, I would also click on dedication and move it down the page a little further normally. I forgot to do it for the video, but you'll see when we format for the ebook how it turns out and really needs to be fixed. Okay, so if you want to do a paperback novel, it's real easy to do in Scrivener. I'll do another video on that in the future. But right now I'm going to change that manuscript Frontmatter to ebook Frontmatter since I don't do manuscripts. I don't send manuscripts anywhere. And that ebook I'm going to delete by just clicking on the folder and hitting Command Delete, and it deletes the entire folder. So there we have our title page, our dedication. And now let's just take a quick look at the paperback formatting. It will automatically put in that information for you, your product title and your name. But I put it exactly how I want it and click compile as is, and then it comes out beautifully on the printed page. I use CreateSpace to print all my books, and Scrivener makes them really nice. So here's the copyright page that comes with the program, but my copyright page is more involved. I include the blurb about these have fictional characters and stuff like that. Comes with a dedication page, comes with a blank page, and see that command there. I went too fast, but there's a command to insert blank pages, which I will go over in more detail when I do a video for formatting for paperback. Paperback formatting, the first time you set it up can be a little bit involved, but with my video, it will be real easy. And then afterwards, it's real easy. It's just a matter of a couple clicks if your books are always the same size. But I've done over 20 novels with CreateSpace using Scrivener, so it works a charm. It works like a charm. It works a treat. I have some Australian friends, and they say it works a treat. Okay, what am I doing now? I'm letting you read my blatant self-promotion there. Dedication, blank page. There's that command for a blank page. Now, here's a trick. Other books by Elle. Instead of typing that all over again, you hit Command D. It'll make a copy. You can grab it and drag it down, and then just change the title because it'll put the word copy when you've made a copy at the end. So you want to take that off because it's actually going to show up in your table of contents the way you've written it there. Okay, so this is a photograph, and you need photographs, JPEGs, to show the cover of your book in an ebook. So I'm going to go grab the JPEG of one of my recent book covers, and I'm going to drag it right over, and I'm just going to plop it wherever I want because it really doesn't matter where it goes. Scrivener will find it for you, but I went ahead and put it in the Frontmatter like they do in their example, but you don't have to do that. You can put it anywhere. Now I've clicked on the compile button. We're actually going to put this mother together. Now up at the top, you could choose ebook format, but because we're going to tweak it a little, we're going to choose custom. So make sure that you have the book. There's the contents. These are all the things that are going to go into your ebook. Now I'm clicking page break before. Okay, so if you want these things to start on a new page, you're going to put those page break before. And any items like your dedication page, your Frontmatter, those should be compiling as is. Now I unchecked that folder box because I don't want that folder showing up. I just want the chapters showing up. And I'm also clicking page break before each chapter. Now here's a trick. Instead of having to click individually, you can hold down your Alt Option button and then click your mouse and it'll pre-fill all the checks and then uncheck all the boxes. So what you can do is fill them all in and then uncheck the couple you don't want. Now, this print settings does not apply in ebooks, and you'll see in a minute I'm going to get rid of that. So down here I'm going to tell it we're doing a Mobi, so let's get those windows open for the Mobi stuff. So there's my contents. Okay, now these are my separators. Instead of having, if you had scene breaks, which I don't have here, I would choose empty line. It doesn't really apply. Cover image, it went ahead and gave me the options of any JPEG I have there. I picked the cover I wanted. Now we're in formatting. This is kind of the big deal. So we're going to pick the level where all our chapters are, and you can see it highlights. That's a new feature that Scrivener put in recently. So you can make sure you are actually formatting the correct level of folder. Now, we don't want the title showing because that's where I put in that kind of crazy wording, but we do want the text in those folders to show. So that's why I've checked that button. Now, you want to make sure that button there is checked to override. We're going to do global formatting. And then click open the options and put remove first paragraph indents. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but the first paragraph of every new chapter is not indented. So we're going to automatically remove it. Now you're going to click on that formatting button and we're going to tell it to put the word chapter and then the chapter number up at the top of each new chapter. And there's a special code you have to use. It's left bracket $T right bracket. Then I put a space, paragraph marker there so that there's some space between my chapter and the beginning of my text. See, I'm kind of dancing around it there. Click OK. So there you go, but it's left justified. So we're going to click on it and then we're going to center it. Now, I try to fix something here and I do it incorrectly in this part of the video. So ignore this. You'll see that it doesn't do what I want it to do. I was trying to make it come out capital, but there's a super easy way to do it, and I forgot it until later in the video. So later in the video, you'll see me show you how to make this a capital chapter 1 instead of lowercase chapter 1. Now I'm going back and putting it back to the way it was so that it doesn't look so silly. Probably should have deleted that out of the video, but anyway. This is the amateur video hour. Now, I only want a 0.33 indent on the text in my book because 0.5 is just too much. We don't want to make those reader eyes work too hard. And I'm also going to justify, left and right. And I'm going to move my line spacing to 1.2. This is how you can really tweak a paperback book to be longer or shorter with this kind of formatting. I'm also going to change the font. Now, most ebooks are going to pick a default font. So whatever you put here, it's not really going to matter. But I do it this way because when I do the paperback later, I want it to use specific fonts. So I go ahead and set it up like I would do a paperback and then let the Kindle program do whatever it wants to the font later. Palatino is my preferred font for text inside my books, particularly my YA books. Okay, so now I'm just kind of clicking through these other windows that I hardly do anything in. Oh, and here's where I remember to make the capital uppercase letters for the word chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And also I remembered here that I like to have the first 5 words of every new chapter capitalized. So that just added that little feature in real quick and easy. Some other little adjustments you can make. As you'll see, I hardly use these other windows. But that's where you tell it to make you a table of contents, which is nice. I changed my title to table of contents instead of just contents, but you can do what you want. It's automatically left justified unless you tell it to center. I click this button here, convert italics to underlines. I don't do that because I actually use some italics for character inner thoughts, so I wouldn't want those suddenly turned into underlines. But check these other things, see if you want to do anything with them. I don't change anything on the HTML. I don't change anything there on the replacements or statistics or tables even. But you can tell it whether to be counting your front matter and back matter in your word count here in statistics, which is, important. If you want to give a true measure of how long your book is, you shouldn't be counting front and back matter. Tables, I don't use. Footnotes, I don't use. Now, there it is. Cassie Leo's name again. Sorry, Cassie, I have no idea why your name keeps popping up on there. I don't know how to change it. In this window, I put in my ISBN number. I really don't know if that helps anything or affects anything, but that's what I do. I also put publisher name in there. I really don't think this comes up anywhere else. Kindle Gen is a little program you need to have loaded if you want to view your thing in a checker, but I actually find watching it, looking at it in my actual Kindle software is better. So I don't use that feature anymore. Okay, so I've compiled my ebook. It's sitting on my desktop right there. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it down to my Kindle software as if I was going to read it like a book. So there is my table of contents, and you can see the chapters and so on in there. There's my cover that I added. Click, click. Now, this is making me pull my hair out, that title page to the left there, that's not centered. There's my dedication. There's my chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But all my back matter is not in there yet. I need to show you how to put back matter in. So we're going to go back to the Scrivener file. And we're going to go, I don't know, where am I going now? I want to make a new folder. So I click Front Matter and I click that folder button down there. I title it Back Matter. Then I'm going to put some new subfolders inside. And the things I put in my back matter are, once again, a newsletter sign up and acknowledgement section, other books by Elle, an author bio. I started to write other books by Elle, but instead I'm going to go up to my other section and just copy it and drag it down. So right now I'm typing in some of the other things I put in my back matter. Now it says newsletter call to action. You're going to want to change that to actually just newsletter sign up or something you actually want the readers to see, because the title will show up in your table of contents. So here I am making a copy and dragging down that other books by Elle and then removing the word copy from the end of it. Okay, so I've moved the back matter folder up. You see where it is now? But it's empty. Like I put those folders, but they don't have anything on them. And if I don't have anything on the inside that folder, any text, it's not going to show up in the book when I compile it. So I have to actually put some dummy information in here so you can see it show up when we compile. So in order to make things nice and pretty, I pulled up my ruler. You may have to rewind and watch that again. I did it so fast, I know you couldn't really see it. Here you see me frustratingly trying to move that left margin over, but it really doesn't matter because we're going to move it over later. Acknowledgements, we'll bold it. I don't know if you noticed, but I took off that little left indent. You can do it on the ruler or you can do it with menu commands, but I like using the ruler, it's faster. And I'm going to make sure on the right hand side of my screen that it says compile as is for all of these back matter items. There I am moving that left indent out of there. It won't pick up on that global command that I put in earlier where I told it to remove all first line indents because we're telling these sections to compile as is. So whatever you see on the screen here is what will show up in the ebook. So you got to make sure the font is how you want it, which I did not do in this video, but you're going to want to change it to the Palatino or whatever the rest of your book is. You're going to want to make sure that the line spacing is the same, that the font size is what you want, because it's going to be exactly how you see it on the screen here. So now we're compiling again, and we're making sure the back matter is going to show up. Click Compile. Same book name, click export, and I just click replace. So it'll get rid of the old copy that didn't have the back matter and replace it with our newest copy. Boop, there it is. Slide it over to the Kindle software, wait for it to show up. And there you can see some of my additions. So there's chapter 3, chapter 2, we're going backwards. There's acknowledgements, there's newsletter, about the author. And there's that other books by Elle page that we copied and dragged down from another part of our binder. Yeah, that section on the left there is called binder. So now we're going to go and take a look at the table of contents, I think. Look at that. It's not centered. I don't know why it's doing that. There is our table of contents. You see how it says newsletter call to action? That's why you want to put, when you're compiling as is, you want to put the actual words that you want to show up in your table of contents. That weird sound in the background is my dog choking. Just ignore that. He's really old. He chokes a lot. Okay, so here's a little problem I noticed as I was going through this little thing. See how my chapters are all jammed up at the top of the page. And really, I like new chapters to start further down on the page. So I go back to my compile. I go back into my formatting. And there on the right, you'll see page padding. So just click that up. I usually page pad by 8 lines. I don't know why, I just thought it looked nice. We're going to compile again, replace the old file, click out of the Kindle software because sometimes it has a little freak out if you have an old version open. Okay, drop it into the Kindle software. Let's take a look and boom, page padding of 8 lines. Looks real nice. Only the first page of your chapters like that. The other chapters start up at the top. And it doesn't affect your back matter because your back matter is compiling as is, meaning how you did it in your window, not with the global formatting. Okay, so what am I doing now? I don't remember. Oh, I love this feature. It's the word count feature. You can set your word count goals and have Scrivener track it for you. So you're going to pick your deadline date. You got to click on the deadline button there, highlight it, and start changing your dates. I put it to the end of May because right now it's the middle of April. I wanted you to see how it works. Click some more of these boxes to say whether you want to include your deadline date. Now, what days of the week do you want to write? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wouldn't that be nice if we had every weekend off? This is just fantasy, people. I write 7 days a week. Okay, click that button, click OK. Now you have to reset or apply these I had to click the reset button. I forget what button I pressed to get that word count goal in there. Edit, that's what it was. So you got to put your goal, and then once you click it, you can see how many words you have left for the day. That's how many you've done for the day. That up there in the top is how much you've done globally, okay, and your goal for the day. You can also tweet what you're doing. Wow, I just love that feature. It's one of my favorite features of Scrivener. So that's the end. I'm sorry this was so amateurish, but I sure hope it helps somebody out there.